Welcome everyone. To a little rock music last week with our 4th of July weekend broadcast, so I have a little bit to get it going here. No shades this week though. Apologies for Suns Out, Guns Out. It's hot. It's worked out a little bit ago, and we have the time to change, so that'll be after the show. The baby Vern home, things are a little bit more hectic as expected, and as everyone knows. So, welcome everybody. We'll just finish out my notes here too for the show today. Let people trickle in before we kind of get into the show as usual. People trickle on in. So, all right, who we got? Christopher. Hello, Christopher. Great to see you as always. Steve, howdy. Andre, great to see you, sir. Hey, from New Jersey, Jay. Hey, David Thompson, welcome. Nice to see you, David. I don't know if you've been, you popped into my streams before. Maybe you watched them or watched some of it. Haven't commented. I can't recall. But welcome. Good to see you. I know there's been streams, other people's wargaming streams that I will pop in and watch for a little while, and sometimes I'll comment, and sometimes I don't. And I don't mean this in any, because I mean, who am I? But sometimes I'll pop into a stream, and if I comment, suddenly a bunch of people are like, "Hey, Wayne, hey, oh, good to see you," and I'm like, "Oh, I try to distract from the stream, like whoever's running the stream, like let them run the stream." Or just a fan popping in. So nice to see you. Be hot there, yeah. I mean, well, no hotter than it has been. So, everybody, where are you at, and what's the weather like? Right, that's kind of the thing. That's what we do. So, Southwest Missouri here. I think it's 92 right now, 92, something like that. So, it's in the 90s, and that's what it's going to be all week. It's been 90s all week. It was reached like 100 some the other day. I was working. It was 106 with the heat index. So it's like 100 even, 106 with heat index. So a little hot with uniform on. Hey, Magnus, welcome. Magnus, haven't seen you. I feel like I haven't seen you in a little while, but I missed you. Turn on the music a little bit. A little background music is nice, a little something to listen to. But yeah, we were rocking and rolling last week with the 4th of July show, so it was a little different. Yeah, Magnus, great to see you. Can't wait to see your game get released by Legion. Vince, of course. Vince, what is it, 2 a.m. where you are? Something like that. Great to see you as always. So dedicated. Definitely. Vince, so for David Thompson, those who don't know, I'm sure most of you do, designed Pavlov's House, many other games, but about Pavlov's House, I think David posted, was it today, saying that, hey, it had achieved, was it 1,000 reviews or 1,000 comments or something like that, right, on Board Game Geek. David, correct me if I'm wrong, you can let us know, but great accomplishment. I don't know if it was Pavlov's House that I used last week, or not last week, 2 weeks ago, right, guys, when I talked about increasing the popularity, which is a little bit related to the wargame accessibility topic of this week, but I figured since everyone else is talking about wargame accessibility, we could talk about it as well. But I mentioned David Thompson, you, and David's designs as sort of an example, a little bit of like crossover designs while being very accessible to people in general. And we'll key off that, and we'll tee off that a little bit with my discussion of the fact that I don't, and we'll get it, you know how it works here. We'll intros, talk about the channel, and then we'll dive into the topic of the week. But just a little preview is I don't think we need to change a lot of what we're doing in wargaming per se, right? We need to increase certain things, make other things available, but I don't think there needs to be a big change, which you see some people out there saying, oh, well, this has to change. Some things don't need to change, but they need to be made available so that we do get more people involved in the hobby. But we'll get into that here in a minute. Charles, morning, afternoon here. It's noon here, Southwest Missouri. I had an opportunity to be here, off from work today. Well, good to see you. Good to see you. Definitely good to see you. Tony's board life. Have you set up Point Blank V for victory yet? So yes. Talk about that in a second, but obviously you can see the box back there, and I know I keep it dark because you guys don't need to be staring at every little thing back here. You can see enough of it anyway, but the game is set up back there, or sort of. I haven't played it yet, just getting it set up. It's been a crazy couple days. So JT saying David Thompson, literally the new John Butterfield. Ooh, I think David would probably take that. I mean, he's his own beast, that's for sure. All right, so again, yeah, just beautiful weather here, hot and more hot. So today's topic, and it is one that is kind of sweeping the Wargame community, sort of. See on Twitter, some on Facebook a little less on Facebook, I feel like, more on Twitter, and then a couple other Wargame shows have talked about it, and that's Wargame accessibility. But as usual, before we dive into it, let's talk about the state of the channel, what I've been covering, what I plan to cover, etc. So, channel briefing. First off, I did finish my series on Scream, Aim, Fire, Pacific from J. Kirkpatrick and Tiny Battle Publishing. As usual, I have a recon video, right? So an unboxing or unbagging, in this case, folio game. A full playthrough of the Welcome to Hell scenario, which is Battle of Tarawa. Although it's more generic type game, right? It's not. You're not going to play that and automatically think Tarawa, but that's what it's called. And then a review. Overall, I really enjoyed the game. And for those who don't know, I have covered the first one, Scream, Aim, Fire. It's set in the Western Front of World War II. He plays Americans against German defenders in that first one. Really enjoyed it. Some problems with kind of the rule book, and had a bunch of rules questions. You saw quite a bit on Board Game Geek. With this game, rulebook's been tightened up, gameplay's been tightened up a little bit. A lot fewer questions than Board Game Geek. I think I had one question. So, not any revolutionary changes with the Pacific version, but just nice and improved. So overall, definitely recommend it to anyone who wants a light tactical war game that is specifically designed for solitaire play. That's right, it is solo designed, which, as you know, we love on this channel. So check that one out, guys, if you haven't. If you have any interest in World War II, Pacific, light solo games that are easy to play, but you still have a lot of fun. So you get to make some nice tactical choices, moving your units around. You go after this pillbox, defend against this tank, etc. I had a lot of fun with it. Second, I did film, and as Tony was asking, I did film my recon for Point Blank V is for Victory, which you can see the game over here. Should be going up on Tuesday. And it's kind of interesting one with that one. So I know the game hasn't shipped to backers yet. We were sent kind of, a few of us were, and Tony's Board Life was one of them, and several other people were sent these copies, kind of preview copies. But I will say this, it is the final version. So, it makes me a little hesitant because normally I wait until a game is released to cover it. I don't do, or almost never, I don't even know if I ever have. And the times I'm asked, I usually tell people, hey, get me a finished copy. I don't like to do previews of like pre-release and prototype copies. That's not my thing, right? I like to get the game that is going to you guys, that you can buy, right? And even if I get it a week or two early or whatever, I don't care, but I gotta want the final version. I think that's why with Point Blank, I'm okay with it, because it's the final version, right? This is not a prototype copy that is made special or anything like that. I want the one that I'm gonna unbox and I'm gonna set up and I'm gonna play, and you guys can get the exact same components and the exact same stuff. So that's why I think I'm pretty comfortable with covering it. So look forward to that one. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully you guys are too. Oh, I'm missing out on some comments. We have a lot of comments. Should check in with these comments, guys. Jay says, thinking of picking up last 100 yards Pacific. A little scared of line of sight from what I've seen. So if the line of sight in the game, is that a problem with that game? I'll tell you the one that has interesting line of sight rules. I'm already finding out. Point Blank here. That's some interesting line of sight rules. I don't know if I've ever seen anything quite like it. I have not. I've literally watched. Let's put it this way. I read through the rule book, and it's very rare for me that I have to watch videos just kind of like grok it a little bit better and just make sure I'm doing it right and I'm on the right page. And that's what I've had to do, or that's what I've done with Point Blank, which is a little interesting because that's not my usual routine, guys. My routine with a game is get it. I read the rule book, like front to back, everything once. I then kind of skim it a second time. I set up a game from the beginning, right from the very beginning, and I play it, referencing the rule book, player aids, everything, checking, double checking, and then I get to a certain point usually, and I've made mistakes. I've corrected them when I can, or I played through them if they're small, but I know they're mistakes. Then I reset it. Then that's when I kind of consider like my first like real playthrough. And that's how I do my games and how I do my learning of games, which I'm sure I've explained that a couple dozen times. So too bad. JT, you talking about answering me or someone else, or asking what game is recommended? The World War II one? Yeah, so Scream, Aim, Fire, Pacific. Boom, boom. Scream, Aim, Fire, Pacific. So like I said, full series of videos on it. Really enjoyed it. There's only a couple pictures on here, I think. A little bit of a bummer. Let's see where they at. Can we find them now? Yeah, just literally that's it for pictures, I guess. So anyway, fun little game. Its counters are like 1-inch counters. They're really nice, really large counters. Although I put the alert ones, like these alert counters, I put them underneath. That way you can see the full counter art, because the alert part's on the bottom. So if you put the counter down a little bit, you can read the alert part. And same thing with Bonsais, it's on the bottom. Panic you can't, but hey, if it's the one you can't read, then you know it's Panic. But anyway, yeah, excellent quick little game. Scream, Aim, Fire, Pacific. Check that one out, guys. If you haven't seen my videos on it, go, Wargame Geek, published by Tiny Battle Publishing. Go to their website. I've been started linking my videos and stuff. So, all right. Talking about the JT, very much talking to David Thompson. So in fact, I'm bringing new wargames to the hobby, some really accessible games, some meaty ones. Love your work. This is the David Thompson, who's my special guest without a camera. I refuse to allow him on camera, so no one can upstage me. I'm the star of my show, so he can only be in text in the comment section. I'm just kidding. Maybe we'll get David on here one of these times. Who's game? We'll chit chat. I know I did the one interview style with Devin from Lock and Load, but I kind of like a more casual, I feel like. So if I had someone on here again, when I do, I kind of want to do a more casual, I guess. Although that was fairly casual, it wasn't hard hitting interviewing. We're here to learn, we're here to have fun, right? Experience the things we're probably already interested in, history, conflict simulations, see how things go, and just have some fun with it too. I did, Vince. I did. So Suns Out, Guns Out because of that. Little gym in my garage. Trying to drop a little bit of weight. I've been working out for a while. Well, I've been working out for years. But trying to step it up a little bit. So I've been did some running and stuff today. Ooh, boy. Ooh. Much of a runner. Never have been much of a runner. So probably the main reason. I swear it's the main reason I didn't go to the military. I was like, can't do that running. The police academy was hard enough for me. JT talking about Scream Empire Pacific. Watch your vid on that. Just pre-order from Second Chance Games. Looking forward to getting my hands on it here in Scotland. All right. Fantastic. Love to see, of course, love to see my overseas and international viewers. See you guys in here. Love that. Charles, right now I think I have the Hex Encounter games I want that are available. Got about a dozen pre-orders, mostly solitaire. Love to hear that. You guys know I play all kinds of games: Hex Encounter, card-driven, dice-based, luck-based, small maps, big maps. My limit though is generally one full-size map. Right, I don't like multi-mappers. Slight problem with Point Blank because the actual map setup, and technically the map is not. Here's where they catch you a little bit. So like, there's a map that it comes with. We don't need the map. It's card-based, right? And a card terrain cards. So like, the map is more of a guide. Think of it as like Warfighter. You don't really need the board for Warfighter, right? Like, you just set the cards up in the rows and all that, and you'd be fine. Problem is that it's huge. It's still like, it's huge. The play area is like, and it's really long. I don't know. I'm a little like, trying to figure out how I can actually show this game off because, hey, it was sent to me. So, I mean, I want to show it off. I show off the games that I'm sent. But I want to make sure it's a good experience for you guys, for myself. I'm giving the game a fair shot, all that. So. Which for the land grabbing humans. That is. David. Howdy. Hello, Wayne and all. Yes. Great to see you, David. Great to see everybody. All right. So, okay, where are we at here in our notes? On my notes. So, talk about Point Blank. Okay. The last thing before we get into, so I'm going to do a quick little new segment on new releases and upcoming games. Ones I'll cover probably, but also just in general. But before we get into that, yes, I figured out that starting now after today, the stream will be reading the comments. We got a lot of comments today. Just trying to keep up. The stream will be Fridays at noon, so noon my time, so same time wherever you are right now, and whatever time it is, that's when it will be for you. So we're gonna keep the time, right? 1200 hours Central Standard Time, but it will be on Fridays going forward, and it will be this Friday. We'll have a show this Friday. It might not be as long of a show since it's only 5 days from now, but we will have a show, and I'll update you guys if anything comes up. But it should be the plan for that. So I want to make sure to lock that in. So to let you guys know, and I'll probably post on my channel. You can post like the things where it pops up and it has like a community post. I've been doing those a little bit more lately, so I'll do that too. Just try to let people know. Steve pops in. Steve Carey, by the way, everybody. Enjoying Manstein's War from Miranda, DG, Decision Games. So Manstein's War, Decision in the West, 1940, from Joseph Miranda, Decision Games, published in World of War magazine. Right? It's one I covered not that long ago, just a little bit ago. Did a few things. Thanks again for showcasing your channel, man. Yeah, absolutely. I know that Miranda has been posting errata and a historical setup finally posted that. I obviously mentioned that in my review that it needed historical setup, or I thought it should have had it. And then someone who was contacting me was asking me how I set up, and I was basically like, well, I just, for the Germans, I think it was the Germans, I tried to set up historically, sort of, very, very like vaguely historical, like army groups, ABC basically is about it. Other specific units, corps and whatnot, no, it was not historical. But then he was contacting me, asking me, and he said he emailed them. So I think maybe they had enough people finally that they're like, okay, let's go ahead and update this and get them in there. So anyway, the TS. Wait, is Point Blank similar to Warfighter gameplay-wise besides the fact they're both card-driven? No, not at all. They are card-based war games, but they are nothing alike gameplay-wise. So can't really comment on it more. maybe I'll do a comparison video, but no, nothing alike, completely different. And then David asks, "We do you have a favorite card-driven war game?" Ooh, good question. Good question. What's a card-driven war game? Go to that. This should be the next week's show. Be Friday show. What's a card-driven war game? David says, "Oh man, I get super disappointed when a game setup doesn't reflect the historic situation." Yeah. So with Manstein's War, what happened is it is. Oh, and looks like I may have a little bit of a connection issue, guys. So my apologies if it gets a little fuzzy, or hopefully the internet will come back in a second, guys. So it's got a little warning pop up here in StreamYard. I just love computer issues, Wi-Fi issues, internet issues. So unfortunately, my computer here is not wired Ethernet or anything. It is wireless, but generally, I don't think I have too many problems with the stream. But anyway, just comment below if it gets a little crazy looking, and maybe I can turn some things off and see what I can do about getting it back going again here. Anyway, so David, yeah. So with Manstein's War, problem was there was no historical setup at all, right? It wasn't even like, well, it was historical, but there was a couple small mistakes. I'm okay with that. I'm acceptable of like smaller errata, right? And if you watch my reviews, if you see any of my content, and I don't care about small things. I'm going to mention them, just like, hey, if I make a mistake with the playthrough, tell me, right? But if it's and I'm okay with that. Okay with that I made a mistake, that the designer made a mistake, whatever. It's fine. Small mistakes will happen. Any field, any job, anything you do, hobby, job, whatever. We all know that in reality. But if there was no historical setup in this game, in Manstein's War, which I think is a mistake. It basically just said, like, set up how you want, with a couple rules, right? Of course, like, a nationalities units had to be, Dutch units had to be here, type of thing. Belgium units here, French units here, etc. Well, that's it though. Then it was like, have fun. You have 30 counters. It's like, I don't know where to put them. Where should I put them? Like, you at least give us the option for historical setup, which thankfully they listened to us and they finally did now. So we are good to go. David asks, and you guys are probably jumping on this one. I like the Eastern Front, but I don't have a ton of knowledge and a ton of game recommendations for it. David asks, since this is July 10th, we're in the midst of the 79th anniversary of the Battle of Kursk. Are there any really good Battle of Kursk games you can recommend? Thanks. So none from me, but if you guys want to jump in, with any recommendations, please do. Let us know what you think, how they are, and all that good stuff. So, because I do not have any solid recommendations. Played a couple different games, but I just don't have enough knowledge for it. So I'm only going to speak to what I know. David says, huge part of the reason I play war games is to learn the history of a situation. Have the same experience when I'm told just place counters where I want. Sigh. Right. And that's kind of like when you have a game that has rules mistakes, or there's ambiguities in the rulebook, and they present them, and then you ask, and the designer or somebody, producer, developer, whoever shows up, right? Someone officially tied to the game, right? And is like, oh, well, you can do what you want. It's your own game. It's your own solitaire game, whatever. Yeah, I know that. I know I can do what I want with my game. I can throw it in the trash can if I want. And I have for certain games. But no, seriously though, like, I know I can do what I want. But that's not that's not what I'm worried about right now. It's like, what am I allowed to do with it? I can do whatever I want. It's a solitaire game. I can do anything I want with the rules. You are absolutely right. But what I want is an experience. When that game comes to me in the mail, or I pick it up at a store, if you're one of the few that are blessed to live near a store that actually carries war games, you open it up and you pull out the rule book, you pull out the components, you set up the map, and you're looking through the rule book. That should be a ready-to-go complete experience. You should have the history explained in the rule book. You should have a historical setup in some way, right? It's some option, at least, a base option. Optional rules, alternative history, sandbox setup, no problem. But I want, that experience, that history, that's why we're here. This is historical gaming, historical war gaming. These are events that have happened, or if you have the hypothetical stuff, you have hypothetical things that's maybe a little different. That's when you maybe look at more of like setups are a little less important. Maybe order of battle is important, right? Hypothetical World War III scenarios you're thinking of. But when it comes to a game, man, it's got to be an experience out of the box. And then you can build on it from there. You can branch out from there. That's just my opinion anyway. Frankie, great to see you. Oh, and before I forget, hey, good morning. Good morning. Howdy. Afternoon here. Howdy. Frankie says, Conflict of Heroes, Storms of Steel, Curse. Love the simplicity and solo friendly to the system. Nice. Very nice. All right. Vince asks, Wayne, what game do you think you'll first play with your son? Well, first game will probably be on a computer, just because I feel like if he gets any of those cardboard chits or anything near him, he's gonna chew on him or something. So I think maybe like Xbox. We'll probably play an Xbox game first when he's big enough. But what war game when he's old enough that I know he's not gonna eat the pieces? Good question. So something I want it to be something simple. I want it to be historical, right? I mean, I don't want it to be Risk, although I think as a kid, Risk is in my opinion, like it's controversial yet stunning and brave opinion here, controversial and yet brave. Risk is kind of a fun game in a way, in a party setting, right? It's almost like in a party, like a group setting, right? Because if we talk about the other week, how many war games are multiplayer games? Almost none, right? Some of them you can kind of wing it a little bit, but most of them are 2-player there, right? Solitaire or 2-player. 1v1, you and me against each other, sitting across the table. I'm going to beat you. No, I won't lose to you. Multiplayer games, you can have a little bit more fun with them, a little bit more freedom, have a little fun, you're joking. Other person's tail turn, you kind of have a break because you're not just automatically like, make sure to check all this stuff. So something like Risk, again, Risk isn't actually a good game, but it's kind of like an entertaining game, I guess. Something like that. I don't know. I went off the rails with Risk. I don't know what I'm thinking, guys. I see my subscriber numbers dropping as we speak. So I don't know. Something simple and easy, Vince. Lots of good recommendations. Lots of great, simpler games. Wayne, have you tried Celis from Revolution Games? Looks good and it's on sale. Have I tried it? Heck yeah, I've tried it. I've covered it on my channel. Love it. Absolutely love it. Great recommendation for a beginner hex encounter war game. It's chit pull, so it's 2-player, right, naturally, but it's chit pull, so it's very solitaire friendly. So Celis is one that, although I haven't put it on my list, per se, on my video list, I would easily recommend as a first-time war game. Really well-written rules. All those guys, Revolution Games, when they release rule books, they're very well written. They do a great job producing those rule books. Heard here first, Wayne's favorite game is Risk, Wargamer card revoked. Yeah, I'm done now. There was my street cred. Whatever cred I had left, if I ever had any, it's gone now. So I'm gonna go play. I don't know. I don't even know what you non-Wargamer card revoked. I'm gonna go play Twilight Struggle with one hand and Risk with the other. Just kidding. Twilight Struggle. I don't want to get people started on that. Frankie says Tank on Tank is a great first war game. I still love it. Yeah, that's actually a fun little one from Lock and Load. That's a fun little one. Vince has got my back. Dave, what are you talking about? Vince has got my back. Risk is great with a time limit. Wink, wink. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I look at it like this. Risk is not the game you play to completion. And maybe that's where I think a lot of wargamers, we're a little more, how should I say this diplomatically? We're a little picky. And we're a little... Okay, we're anal. All right, not so diplomatic. Sometimes we're a little anal, right? We want everything to be perfect. Why is this set up? I can't believe this unit. I can't believe you have the 17th cav over here. Didn't you know that historically, yes, this book says 17th cav was there, but in reality, I did my research, and the 17th cav is set up over here. Your game has a serious problem. Like, okay, it should be correct. We should always try to be correct, but we get a little, as wargamers, we can get a little bit nitpicky. So Risk, yeah, don't play it out. Have a time limit. You know what I mean? Because like, but in us, we don't like that, right? As war gamers, we're like, we can't. What do you mean you're not gonna play it out? It's not over. I could rise up. Yes, from Australia with all my armies that I'd stacked in Australia, they could sweep across Eurasia, and I could win. No, game's over. Call it. Call it. Grill's ready. Burgers are done. Call it. Frankie says Celis is the best war game ever made. Whoa. It is really good. Really good. Chris says there's some great sites where people have made tweaked risk maps, getting rid of lots of the wonkiness like Australia. I would almost love to see like a true war game designer take risk and modify it. Not just a fan made version, because as you guys know, when it comes to talking about picky, talking about anal, I don't do print and play and do homemade stuff. I just not. I mean, I make my own like sequence of plays and player aids for my games, but that's really just because I like to be able to play without constantly referencing the rulebook. You know, I look at the rulebook as like you learn from it, and then the rulebook's available to reference later when you need to check something. But when it comes to just playing, I want to play board in front of me, player aids, stuff like that in front of me. And you guys know how I said you can see all the clipboards, right? Because I set all the player aids up on these clipboards. And so that way I can just literally basically play, roll dice, flip cards, and I can look up and I can see my player aids in front of me. So something like that with Risk. So getting back on track with Risk would be cool if like a official game. I understand it's owned by Hasbro or something, so I'm sure like it's not gonna happen. But something like that, right? Risk style. But with a wargamer's actual like ability to design a good game attached to it. I don't know, maybe have some fun with that. Sasha, too. What games are behind you? Tell us about them. Yeah, so Point Blank V is for Victory. So there'd be my next game that I'm gonna be doing from Lock and Load. Sean Drulinger and Lock and Load is a solitaire. Well, excuse me, it's a 2-player, and then with a solitaire module, like flowcharts and such, little engine, kind of like they do with their Lock and Load tactical games. Just being released now, or it will be released soon. I think the production, it's being made right now and then being shipped over here. So maybe a month or two away from full release. A bunch of war game content creator type people, content creators. Yeah, I guess we are. But that game will be coming soon. But we have a bunch of people now. They're starting to cover. You're starting to see on YouTube and stuff. So look forward to that from me. And then obviously Enemy Action Kharkov, obviously the John Butterfield's latest design, 2-player and solitaire from either side. Enemy Action Ardennes, the sequel to Enemy Action Ardennes sequel, recently released. I don't know when to get to that. We'll see. CDG, the card-driven game solo system from GMT, designed by Stuka Joe, kind of did the OG version. I think this one is someone else attached to as well, helped with development of it. So you combine that right with Command and Color Ancients. So you guys know I love my Ancients games. Command and Color's Ancients, other games, whatever. They're just like, you can see them on there. See them on the box. I'm gonna do it with Caesar, Rome versus Gaul, which again, love the Ancients, love Romans, love Caesar. So let's do that. And then Save South Vietnam from Fortress Game. Bob Faniff and Fortress Games sent me that review copy. Bob, I will get to it, I swear. But I'll just keep putting it up in the meantime, and people maybe go check it out and go buy it from you there. So before I cover it, but Save South Vietnam solitaire design game. I'd previously done 8th Air Force from him, 8th Air Force and 20th Air Force, World War II, obviously, right? 8th Air Force in Europe, 20th Air Force over Japan in World War II. Really excellent. I covered 8th Air Force quite a bit on the channel. Really enjoyed that one. So, and it looks like so my only real complaint about 20th Air Force was that the graphical design looked a little like self-made style. This one looks a lot better already. So that's the story. I'm sticking to it. I'm gonna get to the topic, guys, of the week. We're just gonna be chit-chatting, and that's fine with me. JT says, talk about nitpicking. I saw on Board Game Geek someone having a go at a certain person regarding Landsworth Ridge, regarding the wreck unit that left on the morning of the battle. Oh, yeah. I didn't see that, but right, I can imagine. It just is what it is. And here's the deal. I'll say this because I say this regards to my video, this regards to games. I don't want to make mistakes. I don't try to make mistakes in my videos. I know someone at one point was like, oh, hey, like someone like Rodney. Like I'm not trying to call out this person who said it because I don't remember who it was. So if you're in the chat, hey, I love you. And I like Rodney Smith. But when it's like, oh, Rodney barely makes any mistakes, I'm like, man, it's also his full-time job is to cover board games, right? Like, wish this was my full-time job. Like, I do this as a hobby. But anyway, yeah, I get it. We want everything to be correct, and they should be. We should strive to be correct. But, and this may be misattributed quote, but the great Vince Lombardi, you guys know I'm a huge Packers fan. Whoop. Great Vince Lombardi said, what was it? Don't let perfection be the obstacle to greatness. Basically saying, hey, again, probably misattributed the quote, who knows, whatever. Point is, the idea stands, right? Is that you cannot be perfect, you probably can't be perfect. Strive for excellence, not perfection. Sasha 2 asks, have you tried Next War series? If so, what is your opinion about them? I have not. I know they're very heavy, and they're not. I don't think they're really solitaire friendly. So 2 things that I don't love. I've been watching a lot of your reviews of White Dog games. That can be one of my favorite publishers of solitaire game options. I'd like to get a few of them. They have a ton of great ones. I have a good relationship with them. They send me a lot of games for review copies, full disclosure. But as I always disclose in my videos anyway. But it's a really good... really good. They do a lot of excellent games, but a lot of solitaire games. I mean, they're not focused on solitaire games. They have 2-player games and such, but whatever reason, Michael Kennedy is the owner of the company. He does a great job getting, his R. Ben Madison basically has R. Ben Madison pumping out games for him, and that alone is going to make you one of the top solitaire wargame publishers. You got R. Ben Madison making solitaire war games for you, you're set as a publisher. Occasional Gamer says DBG Warfighter is great because it is modern and can be played co-op. Yeah, so Warfighter's good. I don't cover it on my channel because it's got big table creep, table space. Again, I'm big with that. I like the cameras where you guys can see the action. That's why some of these bigger Hex Encounter games I just don't even cover. Sometimes I'll play them, but I don't cover them. Warfighter's kind of like that, where it's kind of hard to have everything on camera at once, just because it spreads out. It spreads out big time. Tim asked, Wayne, you mentioned Point Blank earlier. Where do you think that rates on complexity? Can't really comment yet. I'm going to say first impression, rules, initial setup, style. It's not light. It's not super heavy, but it's not light. It's probably lighter than Lock and Load Tactical, the actual Hex Encounter version. Lighter than that, and although that's probably like a medium heavy, like a high medium, heavy medium. I don't know. It's such a very scientific scale, by the way, here. So 6 out of 10 complexity. Oops. Sorry, Tim. Steve says, look at the many mistakes Rado makes in his videos, but he remains popular. Yeah, exactly. And same with someone who really got me into sort of the modern board gaming, not wargaming, board gaming scene, Tom Vassell, who was also my inspiration for getting into this. He was my inspiration for a lot of things. He was my inspiration for trashing a game, literally. Tom Vassell threw a game off a roof. I threw it in the trash can. I don't think many of the wargamers, the people who saw it and had the backlash and thought I was, trashing the Ark of the Covenant, or like they thought I was basically on the level of Caesar burning down the Library of Alexandria. I don't think they knew that it's just a bunch of cardboard and paper, and that people like Tom Vassell had done stuff like that before. But anyway, exactly. So you make mistakes, it's fine. Learn from them. And as Tim says here, fairness point was mistakes happen. Absolutely. And that's why I was like, not calling out you. I said, like, I love you, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate you're here. Love seeing you. It is. That's how we learn. And that's the thing, learn from them, right? Learn from them. So that's what I'll do is I like So like when I make mistakes in a video and you guys point them out, I like when someone points them out, and it's like cool, like, hey, by the way, this happened, but this should be this. Oh, perfect, no problem, right? Like that's not an issue. It's when people are more like, oh well, you made several mistakes. You know, check your classes. You made several mistakes, then let me mention them. Like, well, okay, yes, if I made mistakes, I made mistakes, but does it really ruin everything of the video it was trying to accomplish, right? Does a couple mistakes invalidate everything, right? There's a mistake in your setup or your order of battle from a designer and in a rulebook ruin the whole game? Probably not. Or is it a mistake in the sequence of play, or you literally have something that's supposed to happen in the game and it's listed in the rulebook somewhere, but in the sequence of play it's not listed, so you never know how to actually use it. Plain City Wars, right? Is what I'm referencing, guys. So from that, and then you're like, no, that's not okay. That's not good. It's not an okay mistake. Not at all. Jeff Davis, The Mission, absolutely. A lot of great games from them. Both those. Arbet Madison, like I said, you get Arbet Madison designing games for you, man. You can have a whole studio. Steve Wayne, when we'll be covering Kaiser Krieg from White Dog soon. I hope. I did request a copy. I had I was begging Michael for a copy. Kennedy. Oh, that's okay. Magnus, nice to see you. Nice to see you, my friend. Watch the rest of it later on, and maybe we'll see you next time. Maybe we'll see you Friday. Anyway, back to what Steve was saying. Hopefully soon. I just need to get a copy. I've gotten swamped with a bunch of games lately. Just started getting a whole bunch of games in. Good problem to have, right? Tony says, hey, mistakes happen. Good game should be robust enough that small ones will not wreck your enjoyment. Absolutely. I think that if you can play a game, and this is whether content creator like me, right? You're making videos, or like you're just a person at home playing. If you make some mistakes on die roll modifiers, a couple terrain modifier mistakes, and the game should still, for the most part, play out like it should, right? I mean, yes, those are things that are done wrong, and you don't want to make those mistakes. But for the most part, the game should probably still play out fairly close to what it would have. Barring type of game where it comes down to a final die roll and you miss a modifier, that could be a big deal, right? Most of the time, though, those are small things, right? Those are just a little bit of give. You're moving a boulder during the course of a game. Well, just because one little thing, couple little mistakes shouldn't matter. The point is you're still moving that whole boulder. So by the end, you know where you're going with it. Absolutely. But big mistakes, yes. Vince, I know Wayne reviewed and liked the Malaya game from White Dog. Untitled Chapter Pacific books, if I understand. Yeah, that was actually a really fun one, like totally underrated. What is it? Remember Paws of the Tiger. That's right. So, Paws of the Tiger. Paws of the Tiger, I can recommend. Stephen Pohl designed it, published by White Dog Games, of course. Excellent artwork by Jonathan Carnell. He does really good work. And Jose Ramon Fora, obviously. Fantastic. But it is a 2-player game, and it has a solitaire like bot. What I really like is the fact that with this, the uniqueness or the system, the part of it that I love is the way that units, and see if I can find a picture that shows it. So there's these off-map detail sheets here, see Japanese and British. It keeps track. So you have your unit strength off-map, right? So you have a counter for whatever force, right? That is Force A, Force B, which, I mean, they could have a cooler name than that, but whatever. On the map here, which is a really gorgeous map. If you look at this map, it's really, really beautiful for a small little map. But anyway, you'll have your units on there, and you'll have like Force A, Force B. Well, then you have Force A, Force B over here. You can see the force detail sheets. You have the force actual listed off map on these detail sheets here. So really fun little mechanic, and it works, actually does work solitaire. You think the type of thing would be, well, there's no way to work solo. It does work solo. Actually kind of helps, because if you just pay attention to the main map and you only, refer to the force detail sheet later, only when you're conducting combat and stuff, you kind of forget. It's the whole like the idea of playing two-hand style, right? Because you kind of forget what the other side's doing, what the plan was. If you were someone like me, that's what works well with this game. So anyway, I recommend Paws of the Tiger, Stephen Pohl, and White Dog Games. Tim says, having content creators do tutorials or reviews often helps me make a purchasing decision. Glad you do them. Thank you. Appreciate that. That's why I do them, basically. And I'll repeat it. I'll repeat it every show. I'll never stop repeating it. I don't get paid for any of this stuff. I do not do paid content, period. I'm not going to say that people haven't reached out to offer this or that. Hey, can you cover this for me? Blah, 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 like paid type content. I don't want to. I reserve the right to one day do that. However, currently I do not. I accept review copies, and I try to make it only review copies of games that are the production version. Either they are released, they're going to be released soon, but it's a production version. That is 99.9%, if not all of my games. I'll say 99.9% because just in case I missed one, you guys are like, ha, got it, Wayne's a liar. He likes Risk and he lies. What kind of wargamer is he? But anyway, but what I like to do, so I like to cover them, and I love helping people, because I have fun doing it, of course, right? Because again, I'm not being paid for it, so it's a hobby. But this allows me two things. One, it gives me sort of an excuse or a reason to play these games, right? To play all these different games. Like, well, I got to cover it on my channel. It's like, tell my wife, I got to cover it on my channel, and she knows I got the channel, and she's proud of me. It's a good channel. We got lots of subscribers, lots of viewers. It's a lot of fun. And I'm like, well, I got to cover these games. I got to do this stuff for the channel. So it kind of, works for me to, to get these games, get them, and then get them played. But secondly, I love when someone comments and is like, hey, Wayne, your video helped me to decide to get a game. And if they decided they don't want that game, that's fine too. I mean, at least they're educated, right? But just the fact that my video helped, I like two things: education and entertainment, right? I want them to be educated on the game, maybe a little bit of the history if they didn't know a lot about the history. And second, entertained as well, right? We had some fun. You saw me play some stuff, roll some dice, curse a little bit, don't swear a whole lot. I'm not, one of these people out here that's just like cussing up a storm left and right, but that's just not who I am generally anyway. I might all swear, but not all the time. And then in teaching them, I love teaching it. I love showing them off, playthroughs, reviews, tutorials. I don't know, it's just fun. I like fun. I just love hearing back from you guys. When you guys are like, oh, hey, thanks, it really helped. And that, I mean, for real, like that hits it. I just love that's what hits. It makes me think, man, that was worth it. It's worth the time, learning the game in such a way that I can present it, right? Making my little player aids for myself, for the video, right? Writing up stuff, writing scripts for the tutorial or for the playthrough, for the overview, the review, blah, blah, blah. All this stuff takes, pre-editing work, production work, I film it, and there's still all the post stuff that I do. And I don't do a ton. I'm not, Stupid Joe, but I do my share. So. Then says, I have the American Civil War solo game to make. Can't remember the name. Sure, I want to find the time to play it. Are you talking about White Dog Games? Because they have a couple. They have Confederate Rebellion, which is you take the side of the Union. That's designed by David Kershaw, Irish Freedom, which I just covered recently. And then there's Jeff Davis, Confederacy of War, where you play the side of the Confederacy, by Arben Madison. Mission was good, Steve. I'm proud to say that the larger map is directly from me, I guess, or whatever. So I had done all my videos on it, and basically the original map was a little small. I commented on it, and Michael Kennedy was like, "Hey, well, make a bigger map then." So now the boxes are bigger and everything's bigger on it, which I think it really improves the quality of life, right? The functional experience of it. It doesn't change the gameplay per se, but it changes the functionality of it. All the people who point out spelling mistakes and make spelling mistakes themselves in their reply. Yeah. And I won't point out your spelling mistakes. Brian asks, Wayne, what is your absolute favorite war game? Well, definitely not Absolute War, if you watch my review. Definitely not Absolute War. Sorry, Carl Pratis. He's got some good games. That's not one of them. Let's try to find out. Well, these cordless headphones. Better Rebellion. Yep. I think I'm behind on the comments. Sorry, guys. I'm falling behind. Too many of you guys. Wayne, do you like the coin series? GMT has the China Struggle game coming, and it's that game, and it's that time period I like. I've never tried a coin game. Neither have I. I haven't. I don't know what it is. I got a couple. You know the. I forget where it originates from something. I'm sure some movie or show that it originated from. But me and my wife will call it gaps of knowledge. And again, it came from we didn't invent that. But someone will like ask something, one of us will, and the other person will be like, and you kind of look at it like, isn't that common knowledge? Then how do I have that gap in my knowledge? I haven't really played the coin games, you know. I'm not as tied into the topic, which we've yet to get to. 15 minutes in, we haven't even gotten to the topic per se, just answering questions. Sorry, guys. Wargame accessibility. It should be more accessible. Boom, done. Topic done. On to the questions. But if we're talking about, so I haven't played any coin games. I need to. I do want to. Just haven't. I'm talking about Flashpoint or South China Sea. Is that the one you're talking about, or is there a different one? Let me know, because I have the Flashpoint South China. I think it's Flashpoint South China Sea, right? Flashpoint South China Sea. Is that the one you're talking about coming? Because I have that on pre-order, GM or P500, and should be shipping soon. So that's I don't know if that's a coin game or not. So maybe that's not what we're talking about. It may not be. But I do have them coming. So for those interested, upcoming games. Daniel of World War II Solitaire Board Game Channel. Good to see you, Wayne. Howdy, Daniel. Great to see you. I hope you're doing well, my friend. I hope you're doing well. So definitely great to see you, man. Really just wishing for the best for you. Wishing and praying for the best, my friend. So. And it says your reviews are honest, Wayne. Limited time, limited funds, limited shelf space. Want a real opinion? Yeah, that's all I go for. I've said it before. That's what I want to do, man. And I'm not trying to. Apologies for the vacuuming. Life goes on, right? I'm not trying to make waves being a loudmouth. I may be a loudmouth, but I'm not trying to make waves doing it, right? I'm not a shock jock. I'm not out here just cussing and swearing and like blah, 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 whatever. That's not what I'm trying to do either. Like I want to be. That's why I try to do informed opinions, right? That's why I try to. I play my games multiple times. So even if I'm like, hey, this game sucks, in my opinion. And here's why. In my opinion, why I think it sucks. And generally, obviously, I don't say sucks, right? I say, well, I think the rule book is very, opaque. And the game's hard to grok. And there's spelling mistakes. And the sequence of play isn't complete. And you have to actually read through the whole rule book to learn the true sequence of play. Whatever, right? Like the units are wrong and this doesn't flow very well, and the beginning of the game is super long, and whatever those things are, right? Whatever my criticisms are. The game is literally a bunch of charts. In the beginning of it says, hey, there's no rulebook to help you learn. Just start rolling on the charts. That's how you learn the game. What? That's not a way to learn a game. It's a way to get me to throw it in the trash. Every day start treatment on 20th July. All right. Hope everything goes well, Daniel, for sure. Hope everything goes well. Herman, welcome. I'm sorry, I'm behind on comments here by a few minutes, guys. My apologies. I'm trying to get caught up. I'm gonna try to hustle. Get caught up a little bit on the comments. My apologies, everybody. We're hopping today. We are hopping today, boys and girls. Herm, My man, the evil genius himself, Herman Lutman. Hey, Wayne, just got back from lunch, of course. Thought of you, of course. I'm glad you could stop by. You got to swing by. It's although we're going to Fridays at noon. I know, everybody. We're going to Fridays at noon starting this week. This is the last Sunday show. Brian says, I meant your favorite war game, not Absolute War. I know, Brian. I know. If you notice, I kind of dodged the question by diversion. It's a common police tactic. When someone's ranting and raving about one thing, you divert them by bringing up something else, like, say, a game like Total War, which you really didn't like. I mean, I didn't like it. You may like it. You could like it. That's fine. I did not like it at all. It was advertised as a beginner-friendly, easy-to-learn lies. All lies. Okay, not lies, but misrepresentation. Norm says, I'm not a fan of the coin series, just didn't click with me. Yeah, and that's why I haven't played them. So you're like, how do you know when you haven't played? That's all I'll admit, man, I haven't played them because they don't draw me in. And that's something I've mentioned before when it comes to games. I do not, I very rarely play a game that doesn't draw me in from the beginning. I may be drawn in from the beginning and then discover I didn't like it. For instance, I brought it up a couple times, whatever it is, part of my review library history. Famous/infamous moment. My Devil Boats review, right, from Compass Games, from Joe, for his name, because I don't think I've played any new games from him. I don't know if he's released any new games yet. I know he has some comment from Compass. But anyway, Devil Boats, narrative driven. I love narrative driven games. I've covered many on my channel. I've said I loved them. Talked about it on Board Game Geek, Facebook. Simply love them. Whether it's the Hunters, whether it's Picket Duty, whatever. Love them. But I really didn't like. I ended up not liking Devil Boats. But my point was, because I love narrative, I was really interested. I was like, ooh, Devil Boats, narrative driven. Can't wait. Got it, played it, threw it in the trash, literally. Something like Absolute War, same thing, right? It looked really good. Advertised as like this entry level, like not entry level, but like easy to learn, beginner friendly, which no, I'm not a beginner, but I like those types of games sometimes. And I thought if I could really show that off, it would really be another access to the hobby, right? Type of wargame accessibility would be a good one, right? Well, I found it wasn't the case at all. It's too complex for what it is. Combat's kind of convoluted. There's too many modifiers, things to remember. It is not a beginner wargame at all whatsoever. The fact that the designer was like, hey, I can teach this somebody in 20 minutes. You're the designer. You should be able to teach it pretty fast. But for someone that's home trying to learn, because it also has solitaire mode, sort of, not really. Anyway, so there's certain games that then, besides those, right, which I was interested in the beginning and I started playing and then realized I didn't like them, there's games that I just look at and go, I have no interest in that. Click, and I do not spend time on it. I'm not going to waste my precious time on a game that starts out that way. And unfortunately, with the coin series, just the way, the asymmetry, and when it comes to the solitaire mode, right, because coin games to me seem like more of like multiplayer war games, right, which is great. And I'm not saying they're not a good part of the hobby, but for me, that's why don't get me wrong, I'm not saying coin games shouldn't exist or something. This isn't, trust me, it's not controversial and brave on that one. They should exist. They're a good part of the hobby. But I feel like it seems like most of them are like multiplayer style games. There's like 4 factions at once, stuff like that. Well, it's a multiplayer game. Man, I'm basically playing my game solo here. Like I don't want to handle myself and 3 bots. Like I'll just play a computer game then. So Sasha 2 asks, any advice on finding time to play solo war games? Got Space Empires and tried finding time to play it solo, but bloody chores get in the way. Family work, etc. Any advice? Well, Space Empires is also pretty bigger, heavier game, especially solitaire, managing all that solitaire. So you may want to start with a smaller one, like, and I'm not saying, really, I want to play that one though. Okay. Here's what I do. You have to have a place where you can set up your games or you can leave them. You cannot, war games are not the type of games you can set up, tear down. You're going to have space you can put them up, at least for any larger games, including Space Empires. Secondly, you need to set aside time for it, right? If it's a hobby that you want to devote time to, you need to set aside time. It's no different than anything else. Just like you set aside time for chores, set aside time for work. You need to be ready for work. You need to go to the store. You need to do your chore, your errands, mow the yard, whatever you're doing, right? Make time for your hobbies as well, not just plop down. Okay, maybe I'll play for a little bit. Blah. And something else comes up. No, make time for it. Say, hey, tell your spouse, family, whatever it is, right? Or then think about in your head, what time would work? And it may not be exactly when you want to. Sometimes you're like, oh, I really want to play this, and you can't because you got stuff going on. That's life, right? But if you say, you know what, I figured out that every Sunday at noon I can do a live stream, and that's when I'm going to do it. And I started doing it. You know, now we got a ton of people come in, commenting, having a lot of fun. So set aside time. Even though it seems silly, maybe that you're like, oh, I'm scheduling my fun time. Yeah, do it. Trust me, it works for me. Like, hey, honey, tomorrow, we get up to this and that. Starting around 9. I'll be wrong. I'm not saying it's going to be 9 o'clock exactly, but around 9, I'm going to start doing the games, doing my videos, whatever. She says no problem because it's so scheduled. So she appreciates that, I think. Instead of just me disappearing trying to play games. Rob said, coin games are very good and very easy to solo. Okay. I have to check them out then. JBX says, ever try any CSS company scale system games from Compass? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. What are those? How many maps? How many maps and how big are those rule books? What's a good company scale game? Let's go look. Let's go look. What is a company scale game from Compass? Fold a gap. Oops. Fold a gap. 4 maps. 9 counter sheets. 4 maps? Are you kidding me, guys? No, I've never played this system. God bless people who can play these types of games. I feel like the secret is people get these games and they play them on Vassal. I feel like no one admits that. Stunning and Brave, controversial yet brave opinion. People buy these games. Look at this game. 4 maps. You're telling me you set up a 4-mapper and play it? God bless. Good for you. I say good for you because not a chance I'll be doing that. It's cool the game exists, but not for me. It's a new one on Channel Struggles. So no, I don't have that experience with that. I fell behind. I thought I was going to get caught up, and I fell way behind again. All right, let me go through without. Let's do a little lightning strike, lightning mode here through these. We're not done yet. We got plenty of time left, but let me do some lightning strike on these. Coin from Trials. Colonial Twilight, only 2-player. Fantastic solo system. All right, 2-player, cool. What's your take on ASL Advanced Squad Leader? Says John Clark. John, do you know who I am? You know what games I play? Have you seen the games I play? I have never played ASL, and I never will. Unless I'm at a convention, and Steve Perry or somebody who knows it is, and I think Steve used to play it. Correct me if I'm wrong, Steve, if you're still watching. But if someone I go to a convention finally and someone's like, hey, I want to show you this, Wayne. This ASL's really great, I swear. Like, all right, I'll sit down for a while. But otherwise, no, it's not the games I play. To Daniel, so glad you're doing better, my friend. Yes, me too. Wait, Vince says, wait, you should invite Volko on your channel for a playthrough. Cuba Libre, maybe. Cuba Libre. Good drink. Is it a good game, though? Drink versus game. David Thompson says, to Herm, coin is a hit or miss with me. Not a huge fan of the system, though some of the games I enjoy most of their topic. I feel like some of the topics are fantastic, but it's like I don't know if the gameplay would be for me. And that's why it hasn't drawn me in to the point where I've then learned them and played them. And I'm not saying, guys, because everyone deals in absolutes, right? Like, well, Wayne said he hasn't played coins, so he hates coins, and he doesn't think coins are real war games. What? Just take that, edit that right out of the video clip, and just say, I don't think for real games. Reality, I just haven't played them because I haven't caught my eye. I'm very big on that. You got to catch my eye with a game, a design for me to go, whoop. Tim says games that turn me off right away. Games use NATO symbols exclusively. I know. Just can't do it though. So I used to be like NATO symbols. That's it. David, got to head off. You need co-designer partner for playtest session. Glad I was able to catch you live. Hey, absolutely. Hey, great stopping by, David. Great to see you. We'll get you on here sometime. We'll chit chat about some games, what we like. No, like I said, no pressure, no grilling you, no hard hitting questions the first time. But great to see you. And yeah, good luck, whatever you're working on there. Sounds like fun. Good luck for sure. So sorry, we didn't really get to the wargame accessibility topic today. I don't know how that did happen. I didn't realize I get 10 million questions from you guys today. I love it though. Great feedback, great questions, great back and forth. So anyway, get back to what Tim was saying. Games that use NATO symbols exclusively. Yeah, so when I started, I was like, started wargaming. I was like, NATO symbols, okay. These are kind of not very cool. When you come from, as I've said before, I was introduced to wargaming, modern wargaming with maybe like, say, Memoir 44, right? I saw the NATO symbol games, and I'm like, what? When we come from like colorful hexes, setting down the terrain and plastic minis, the toy factor, as someone said on other live wargaming stream with Grant from our Dragoon guys. I'm sorry, guys. I'm blanking. My mind's starting to go blank. The Dragoon guys, Dragoon's Regiment, or whatever the hell the name of their place is. Which I love that they do. They do a lot of good work. But anyway, they were talking about someone mentioned that like Memoir 44 has a toy factor, which I feel is a little dismissive. It seemed a little condescending, which maybe ties into the accessibility conversation. Is like, why, it's not a toy factor. Not like my games. Like, okay, here we go, right? Like, you have a World War II game. You have scenarios based on battles of World War II. You're starting to learn the history. You're trying to see it in action, see forces fighting that conflict, right? Simulating to some level, even very basic level of conflict, of maneuver, of using cards, strategizing, some luck, rolling dice, right? And you're kind of mixing everything together to achieve, your goals and your objectives. And you're going to be dismissive of that, and you're going to be like, that's a toy. I don't know. I don't know if that's how he meant it, but it kind of felt like that. I'm just going to say that. It felt like that. But anyway, you just feel that way as well. Frankie says, Memoir, another great first game to play with your son someday, maybe. Absolutely. And that may be the answer to the question that was asked of what will be the first game. I was thinking of like something like Celis, chip pull game, blind swords, but in reality, probably something like Memoir, right? You get the little minis, right? But not something I have to paint because I can't do that. But like give minis, but you also have, you have like hexes, and you have terrain, and you have these cards you're playing, and I don't know, I just feel like it'd be a cool one. So JBX says Tinian is the smallest, I think. I'm talking about the CSS game. Let's go see how small that one is. Tinian. I'm not trying to pick on the series because I'm sure if you are a fan of it, you love it, and I'm sure it's great. It has this complexity. Well, this one's only 6. Okay, here we go. Only one map. Hey, there we go. One map, 5 counter sheets, or 4 counter sheets. Okay, a one mapper. There we go. And that's what I would play. So if I was going to play the CSS system, company scale system, it would be a one mapper. I don't have the space for more than one map, and I simply don't like games that are bigger than one map. It's not fun for me. Reaching that far and all this stuff. It's not fun for me to play, especially like solitaire, just sitting playing by myself. I don't think so. Oh, yep. So yeah, Tinian one map, the same size as Absolute War. Okay. We want to check out then. Time has been zipping by this week for sure. I think, yeah, we're an hour 8, hour 9 minutes on the stream already. Are you kidding me? We didn't even get to the topic of the week. Steve says, no way to sell for me, but did enjoy Basics Quality when it first came out. Well, Steve, my thought was that if I get to a convention one of these days, and I do plan to, you'd asked me previously if I ever plan to go to a convention. I do. You gotta get a game, and we gotta get some gaming in. I think you and me, buddy. It's been a long time coming. Been chatting via email and on here and on YouTube, the comments and stuff for years now. So we definitely need to get a game going, Steve. Tim says the newer Wargamer coin is too complex for me. Yeah, I mean, it seems like they're fairly complex, and that's the thing is, hey, the nice thing is, the beautiful thing about our hobby is that there are so many games all over the spectrum of complexity, right? From, you got JBX over here saying, "Hey, have you played Company Scale System?" And it's got a game. And I probably don't sound like that, JBX. My apologies, but he played Company Scale System. Here's how he sounds actually. If it's assuming it's a guy, he played Company Scale System. Pretty awesome. Format, and then I go look at one of them, and it's a four mapper, and it's got 8 counter sheets, and it comes with a note for a chiropractor free sessions. You're gonna need it after you're bent over 4 maps, right? Then the other hand, and maybe like farther down, like third of the way, coin games. Maybe right in the middle are coin games, and then down at the very other end, you have games like Scream Aim Fire or the Confederate Rebellion, or I don't know, very like dice heavy, just basically rolling some of the earlier States of Siege games. So that's the beautiful thing is you can pick where you want. You pick where you want to start. You can pick where you want to advance to, and go as far as you want on this scale. And when you get to wherever you're comfortable, stop there. You don't need to play those other games. That's something I learned pretty quick. I used to try to buy the heavier games. Compass has one, I think an Adam Starkweather design heavy game, and I got it, and I was like, "Oh no, I'm gonna learn a heavy game. I'm a real war gamer." And I started playing it, and it was just like, I can't handle this. I can't handle this system. This is way too much for me. And whether it's too much for me forever, I'm not gonna say that, but it was too much for me at the time. Oh, I missed you. I'm sure I missed you here because that was like 5 minutes ago. But Jay says, "Got to run. Enjoyed listening. First time on live stream. Well, stop by again. Hopefully, you're available Fridays at noon, 1200 hours Central Standard Time. Live in Missouri. Places are great, by the way. Thank you. I appreciate that." Tim says, "I found both DVG and Herman's games are way more approachable." Yeah, for the most part, DVG, Herman Lutman designer, a lot of excellent designs that are easy to get into. Some of them are heavier or turn into heavier games overall, but I find the barrier to entry on a game like that from pretty much every one of DVG games and every one of Herm's games, barrier to entry is low. Some of them are more complex on the back end and weightier and more content, but the actual decision space gameplay aspect of it is a lot easier to grok for someone like me, who's a simple man with simple pleasures. Staying away from purely functional maps to attract people. I might have missed a comment, part of a middle of conversation on that one. DBX says Terroir 1943 is a very simple, good first war game. Talk about the one from Worthington. So I did a recon on that unboxing, and then I never got to the rest of it, and now it's all sold out. So I kind of feel bad doing like a playthrough, and that was when I took. So I did that, and then I think I did that right before I took my break with everything that was going on with my son. So I took like a 2-month break from my channel, and I came back, and like I think the game is sold out already. I think it was sold out then. It was sold out for like 2 months. So I don't think that. I mean, I hate to have a game that I do a bunch of coverage of, and it's a sold out game you can't even buy. Like, how fair is that? Hey guys, look how great this game is. Look at my playthrough and review. Don't you love it? I love it. Now, good luck finding one. Joe Wood says, "I just want a really good dedicated solo squad tactical combat game. I'm always interested in ASL for accuracy and realism, but just isn't solo." So, Scream Aim Fire that I just covered, the Pacific version, not specific, Pacific. And there's already the Western Front version. It is a solo squad tactical combat game. Now, it is on the complete opposite spectrum of something like ASL, right? It's hex and counter too, by the way. It's hex and counter, solitaire, squad, tactical. It's everything you want, but it is very light. It's a little more generic. You play as Americans, like it does have units and whatnot, but it's a little bit more generic. Let me pull it up so you guys can see. You see it again. We looked at it a little bit earlier. I mean, I recommend it if you don't mind a lighter one, right? Like I get you're probably saying you want something that's heavier. It sounds like if you're thinking about ASL, this probably won't work for you because you'll want something heavier. But you can see. I mean, it looks good. It plays very quick, very nice, easy to learn. Very, very good system too. A lot of push and pull. The way the system works, I really love the fact that it kind of, if you're winning, the AI it'll spawn more units, but at the same time, if you're kind of getting your butt kicked, it's not going to keep spawning units. So it kind of adjusts based on how well you're doing, which is kind of a really good design. It is a good design. It's not kind of, it is. But anyway, so that's an idea I want to look at maybe. Because they haven't played the D-Day Omaha Beach Solitaire version. I wonder if it's the DJ fully. Have not. Charles says, oh, I'm talking about I was responding to Tim for a different game. I think I missed it. I missed it. With Colonial Twilight, maybe. All right, well, I'm caught up, but check my show notes. So I guess the only thing left, we did not even talk about the topic this week, but I'm not going to go too much longer. You guys know you get to about an hour 15 and I start kind of wrapping up. I want to mention that upcoming game. I forgot to mention this earlier. I was going to put this as part of my, hey, we're still making our show, taking kind of how we're going to do the show here, a live stream. We're having fun no matter what. So, but what I was going to do was talk about new releases and upcoming games before I dove into the topic, which again, we never reached the topic this week. And the new game coming, or just released, shipping now, is Fire on the Mountain from John Paniski and Legion Wargames. It's an American Civil War game covering the Battle of South Mountain. Very interested in it. A couple months ago, I reached out to Randy L., owner of Legion Wargames, for a review copy, and he asked me to, and since I was interested, he's like, well, mind taking a look at it? The rulebook. So before it was finished product, so like it already made I think the map and the counters, but they were working on the rulebooks and player aids because those are printed in the USA, so they can get it done pretty quick. So I think Legion is based in Wisconsin, where I'm from. Anyway, so he sent me the rulebook and the game on Vassal and stuff, and I played through it and I gave him some feedback on the rulebook. I don't know if he took any of my feedback, which is fine. I don't care particularly, other than I hope it's a good rulebook. I hope it's a good game. And I'm excited and I'm anxious to check it out. So, he just wanted to make sure everything was tight with the game. So I should hopefully be getting a copy of that soon. So that is Fire on the Mountain. And let me kind of bring it up here. I wanted to show it up because actually, that's an interesting look. First off, love the cover. Battle of South Mountain, Fire on the Mountain. Which, Steve, if you're still here, Battle of South Mountain, huh? What do you think of that? And then, where is it? So these counters are really interesting. Look at these counters. They're big. They're wide. Wide counters, right? So it's I don't remember how big it is exactly. They're larger-ish. But, the fact that they're, wider, and they take up, it's hard to tell here because this is just set against the map backdrop, but they actually take up, I believe it's 2 hexes. So each of the unit counters takes up 2 hexes side by side. Almost like playing old Great Battles of History game with phalanxes, you know what I mean? Or, hoplites, fill it up 2 hexes and stuff. Anyway, I'm anxious to check it out. I'm anxious to see what it's like. So the final version. The production version, as I like to talk about with you guys. So, all right. All right, guys. Final question. We're at an hour 20. Holy cow! What a busy show today. Busy show today. We had a lot. We didn't even cover the topic really. We kind of talked about it vaguely. And 2 weeks ago, we talked about increasing wargame popularity, things like that, which I believe is kind of related to wargame accessibility. So we talk about more maybe on Friday. So final comments, final questions. Throw them out there. Anything you got for me, for each other, throw them out there. Great to see you guys, by the way. What a good show today. We had a lot of people coming in. A lot of people stopping by. Really appreciate that, everybody. As always, great to see you guys, the crew. Absolutely. Hey, I'm not leaving yet. Soonish, we're wrapping up, but you know, we had time for a little bit. No rush. Okay, Ken says Worthington will be shipping Levy en masse deluxe soon, plus Fire and Stone Siege of Vienna 1686 is coming soon. Ooh, I will have to bother Grant over there and Grant Wiley and be like, hey, give me a copy. I want to show it off and play it. So 1200 hours, noon Central Standard Time. So whenever, which is the same time when this started today, for wherever you are, whatever time it was that this show started, that's when it'll start on Fridays, and it's this Friday. So in 5 days, we'll be going Friday at noon. Damn, great show again. Good job. Thank you. No, hey, great show because you guys coming in, and otherwise just be me talking to myself, which I do enough on my regular videos. Andre, what are your thoughts on chip pull games? I love chip pull games. Blind Swords, probably one of my top 3 series of Wargame series of all time. Just fantastic. Love, it increased my love of the American Civil War. I was able to play it solitaire. I think it would work well multiplayer. I don't 2-player. I don't play my games 2-player. Play them solo. But man, just an excellent, the chaos, but also like they can control the game design. Can control that, right? So like for instance, in the Name of Justice, Battle of Lewis, 1262 or something like that. The one from White Dog Games is a chip pull, and it's freaking medieval combat chip pull, and it works great. It works really well. So I'm a huge fan of chip pull games overall. They have to be designed right. You can't just say, hey, here's all the formations and units, throw a bunch of chits in the cup and just draw them, and just whatever activates. No, it's got to fit the system. It's got to fit the time, right? When was that battle? What was command and control like during that time? Modern times, it'd probably be a little bit more rougher to do chip pull because with modern command and control, it's a little better, although as we're learning it. Certain countries going on right now, command control doesn't always work, even in modern era. So, Christopher, great time. Thank you, everyone. Have a great week of gaming. Absolutely. Christopher says, would you recommend a Most Fearful Sacrifice or a Blind Swords game first? Well, I'd recommend if you have FOMO, you should get a Most Fearful Sacrifice because it's going to sell out. And you're not going to be able to buy it except for aftermarket for millions of dollars. Although I made you like a giveaway with my copy just to make sure once it's sold out and everything, make it some lucky person. Ron DeBrock, where in the US do you live? I don't know. You got a creepy little profile pic. I don't know what I should tell you. I was footstep from Clockwork Orange. I live in Missouri, Southwest Missouri. So outside Springfield, Missouri. Outside near Wilson's Creek Battlefield, American Civil War Battlefield. So anyway, what I was saying, Most Fearful Sacrifice, I'd probably recommend a Blind Swords game. I prefer it to the Most Fearful Sacrifice Black Swan system. And by prefer, I mean it's just kind of what I'm more comfortable with still. But maybe like Thunder in the Ozarks. Richard said last game I played with chip pull tokens was at any cost Mets 1870. Excellent solar experience. And then that's Herman Lutman who did the Blind Swords. So it's the same system, right? So similar system, exact same. Herm loves to modify systems from game to game. Even the Blind Swords games from the beginning, like first ones to the later ones, are modified a little bit. So be wary of that. Herm, tinkerer. Herm always tinkering. I'm gonna put got some going ring for some reason. Went ahead and blocked him for now. Put him in a timeout actually. Andre, yeah, you're welcome. And again, great job, everybody. We had a great show. Everyone enjoyed it. I think I enjoyed it. I guess is what I'm trying to say. I enjoyed it. I hope everyone enjoyed it. Is what I meant. Launch Route Attacks, yeah. Just play Launch Route Attacks. Play the smaller scenarios to start with. You start just a few counters on the map. You'll be good to go. So All right, everybody, we are wrapping up. We are done. Thank you to everybody who showed up. Thank you to everybody coming out today. We had a ton of people, ton of comments, ton of viewers, ton of live viewers at one point, and we had a lot of fun. I know I had a lot of fun. So, all right. Anything else? No, that's it. That is it. So, all right, guys. Thanks for coming out. And oh, music just turned off. That means the show's over. Okay, guys. So remember, Friday at 12 o'clock, Friday at 1200 hours Central Standard Time will be the next show. And yeah, hope to see many of you there. So until next time, everybody. Later.